Hey, it's 8 o'clock on the first, what day is it? Tuesday? Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month. I had a panic attack right there for a moment because yesterday being a holiday, I was like, no, I didn't work yesterday. Today must be Monday. I got all confused. It is, in fact, the first Tuesday of the month. That's when we do the monthly Q&A discussion to help prep for Philmont treks. This is coming out of the Philmont Trek Talk group on Facebook. We have an illustrious, very, very highly decorated and experienced panel of experts here to answer any questions that come in. So let's get some housekeeping out of the way real quick here. So with this type of web broadcast, we're on YouTube. We're on a couple different places on Facebook. So regardless of what platform you're on, we don't know you're there unless you leave a comment. So please leave a comment. Let us know what's going on. If you're on Facebook, then there was a link somewhere. You know, I said last time I was going to get the link and have it available to share with people, and I forgot to do that. But for StreamYard, if you are coming through Facebook and you want it to show who it is that's commenting, you have to go click through something that gives them permission to see your profile name. But regardless, leave a name. Let us know what your crew number is. So I'm 618A1. So that'll tell us when you're leaving, and maybe tell us where you're from if you like, and what trek you're doing if you want. It's a lot of personal information. And you know what? I should pull the mic closer here so people can hear me. That's a lot of personal information. I promise not to sell it and get you on a mailing list, or I'm not going to make any promises about setting you up for robocalls, but yeah, you won't be on a mailing list. I'll guarantee you that. So let's see.
Hey, Jeff, as long as we're doing housekeeping, I'm not seeing us on Facebook yet. Can you check on your end?
I see us on YouTube.
I see the check marks here on this end that indicate that it should have fired off.
Okay.
I see us on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, I see
user
us
error
on
on me, P.
Someone does see us?
I do.
It's working?
Okay.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Oh, and we're getting some comments coming up from Facebook user. Look at that. So if anyone has the link for StreamYard where you can, Hugh did it, right? He came in through Facebook. So Hugh, if you have the link for how you give permission to show your name, that'll make it easier so we can see. Oh, thanks for the update, Facebook user. It'll let us know who Facebook user is so we don't have the same... so we can tell who is commenting along the way. 628. So that one's almost a month away. 804. Hugh's going to be going later in the summer.
August.
Yeah. All right. So that was the housekeeping of how to show your name in the Facebook chat, and to please leave us a comment. The other thing you can do, no matter what platform you're on, give us a thumbs up or a like or whatever. That'll feed the algorithm so it shares it with more people who may be interested. We can get a bigger, better chat going on, discuss more things. Oh my goodness, that is a long link there. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it up for a second. All right, type that in real quick. Okay, good job. Let's see.
Type that in real quick. You funny.
Jeff's going to be there.
I couldn't even read that fast.
Yeah. Well, see, I figure we've got overachievers in this group, so I didn't need to stay up long. If anyone has the shorter link for it's StreamYard/Facebook, something like that, I don't know. Whatever it is, then that will allow us to see who you are. So anyhow, give us a thumbs up or a like or whatever to help spread it around so more people will see it. If you don't mind, we would appreciate it. And then we can get more people in here. If you know someone on your crew who hadn't shown up and left a comment, call them, send them a text, whatever, send smoke signals, whatever works to get them in here, because we're going to talk about some critically important stuff. Where did you get that shirt? All right. Guesses? Anyone? Where I got this shirt? Oh, let me get rid of the comments so we can see it. Boom. There we go. Yes, I made it. I have a I have a vinyl cutter. This is heat transfer vinyl on a shirt that I picked up expressly for the purpose. I actually keep a stack of shirts available in various different colors, and I keep a bunch of heat transfer vinyl available. So whenever inspiration strikes, I can crank out a shirt in about 15 minutes, and it's pretty exciting, I think, if you ask me. Chad Coble. Chad's a local boy here. He's on the other side of town. Chad actually camped with me a few months ago with my Sea Scout ship. We did a sailing weekend. So as usual, we kill a few minutes of time at the beginning waiting for people to get in. Looks like, 20 or more people so far. We expect to see a few more show up. So while we are killing time, let's do introductions. We'll go around this way and then down, and then I'll end it. So you want to take it away, Scott?
Absolutely. I'm Scott O'Mary. I'm coming to you from beautiful and very flat Plano, Texas, just north of Dallas. I am the Scoutmaster of Troop 259, and I've been to Philmont as a summer trek, as well as winter adventure there, as well as a few of the other high adventure camps like Northern Tier Summit. So all around experience on high adventure treks.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce Scott's mic real quick?
Scott's mic is having a lot of audio video problems, so I'm coming to you twice tonight.
Yeah.
So
there's the explanation. We Scott is so valuable to this chat that we put him in twice.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Split personality, one of the two.
Take your choice.
All right, Sal.
My turn.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
Sal Porto, Assistant Scoutmaster, Troop 212, Lutz, Florida, right north of Tampa. Going on my 6th trek this year, contingent leader. Been to Northern Tier, been to Summit. Keep going back to Philmont. We have 6 crews going out this summer, 621 crews. All doing North Country, all 6 of us.
Wow.
Give it off to Daryl now.
Yeah, Daryl Tadson. I'm coming to you from St. Charles, Missouri. Have done Philmont treks a couple of times.
Couple?
Well, you might add dozen in there, but
Yeah, couple dozen times.
anyways. So have some experience there. We'll be a not all summer, but a summer staff person there this summer for a few weeks at Philmont, and looking forward to hopefully meeting some of the crews as you come through the Welcome Center, because that's where I'm going to be working.
That's awesome. And what day do you get there? What day will you leave?
Okay, I'm also a contingent leader. We have 4 crews, 614W. We're going north and south, the cruise, and we're actually arriving the 13th. I'll be out of there the 27th. And if I can get permission from the local authorities here, I might go out and spend a few days, later on in the summer.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I'll look forward to seeing you on the 18th when I get there. So I'm Jeff. I am the skipper of Sea Scout ship 4019. Yes, we still have Sea Scout ships. If you have any questions about Sea Scouts, send me a note. I'd be happy to evangelize for you. So let's see. And I've been to Philmont twice, once as a youth, once as an adult. This will be my 2nd time as an adult, as a guest of a crew that's a couple hours away from me. So I appreciate the Troop 49 out of the Charlotte, North Carolina area extending me that invitation. So they will come to regret that if they haven't already. All right. Oh, Chad's planning early. All right. Look at that. He is a planner. That's one thing I know about Chad. All right, guys. So we got a few things to talk about. I thought we would kick it off with Daryl. Daryl has been officially designated as our Philmont representative. So last time I talked to Shelly, who's the operations manager out there, she said, her operations director, whatever she is, the queen of operations, I'm not sure. She said Daryl will represent Philmont staff in your monthly chats. I was like, hey, cool. All right. So you've been officially designated. So, and you do, we talked last night, you have more information than the average bear. So why don't you lay some knowledge on us?
Okay. And got to kind of weigh my, which hat I'm wearing, as a, an employee of Philmont, if you will, and an advisor here on this crew. But
well, let's just go ahead and lay the rules down for that. Anything you say is going to be as a member of the group, as an advisor. While you were kind of designated as the informal representative of Philmont staff, you're not speaking. You're not Philmont public relations, right?
Correct. And I don't want to put that across, and most of it is my understanding.
Yeah.
At this point, Philmont has already started scatter. If you know what that is, that's when the backcountry staff heads out to the backcountry and starts opening that up. Scatter started on the 13th or the 30th. So they're actively opening the backcountry. There's a lot of work to be done, both in the backcountry and at base camp. Essentially, nobody's been at the ranch for like a year and a half. So, a lot of the buildings have got to be cleaned, inventory's got to be taken, and last Friday, the last of the seasonal staff showed up. There are about 1,100 of them. They got a very, very high rate, 70s and 80% COVID vaccinated. So, they're pretty pleased with that. They're going to be really hard over on the COVID rules. BSA National and a lot of the camps around the country are watching to see, what Philmont does and how they operate and so forth. And they have put a ton of effort into getting the camp open and running, and they're not going to threaten their so far success. So the rules may be, you may not like them, you may chafe a little bit, but they're asking your, patience and indulgence. Masks are going to be required at base camp. It's not negotiable. Here, if you're in your cohort, as they're going to call it, which are the crews, and you're in and around your own tent area, you can remove the mask. But once you start moving around base camp, you need to have it on. Once you hit the backcountry, unless you're in with another crew doing, something, a fellowship or whatever, or engage with the staff in the backcountry, then you have to wear it. Otherwise, you're free. You don't have to wear a mask in the country. As I understand it, when you arrive, the Welcome Center will ask a couple of questions. We'll take temperature. And they'll go in whatever direction they have to at that point based upon, what you tell them and your temperature. They're also going to be checking for vaccination cards and negative testing if you do not have, or if you're not vaccinated. And they mean fully vaccinated, meaning 2 weeks, 14 days after your second shot. So if you get a shot on Wednesday and show up Saturday, they're still going to look for a test on that issue. As I understand it right now, the villa tours are being coordinated for homebound crews. Their position on this is that, the crew, the cohort has been there for 12 or 14 days, and, they are, if you will, safe to do the tour. So they're really wanting everybody to do it on the back end of their trek. When you get there, you can make reservations at the museum and so forth. if you arrive early and get checked in, you do have the ability, if you have your own transportation, you can move off ramp and go into town and turn around the circle. The shuttle bus to town will not be operating until homebound crews come off the trail. So that'll be about, I guess they got to deal with the 7 and 12 days. So it's going to be at least a week after arrival before the shuttle bus to town is available. Religious services will be held. They still have a guideline of size of crowd, so they're probably going to be doing 2 services for each religion, maybe a little shorter. Opening and closing campfire is a little bit up in the air right now. They're definitely going to have a closing campfire. It'll probably be multiple campfires, shorter in length for the homebound crews. At this point in time, my understanding is that the opening campfire may not happen, and that the ranger will be tasked with sharing the history of the Southwest and the ranch and so forth with the crew. But don't quote me on this. It may change. There's this whole COVID thing, as we've seen, it changes almost daily, some of the other things that I've found, vaccines I've talked about, scatter has started. Make sure that that the crew advisor, the adults, and the crew leader, it sounds stupid, but know your expedition number. When you arrive and you check in with the welcome center, because that's the language that Philmont understands. 614 W01 or whatever you happen to be. Not, I'm Troop 32 from Boise, Idaho, or whatever. And they go like, we don't know who you are. You got to have the expedition. Also, make sure that the crew advisor or the contingent advisor, that the gateway is up to date. They started an issue this year that if you are not paid 30 days before arrival, there's a $150 late fee per person. So you need to get your roster up to date and so forth. The other thing on that is the Welcome Center is going to, or does, on the day before your arrival, make tent assignments. And they go off of the data from the gateway. So if you show up with one more person, that person, or probably an adult, will be housed, if you will, in the tent. Probably not with your crew, because they've made those assignments and they can't start juggling tents. Capacity in base camp is in the high 90%. I mean, there's a record number planning to be there this year in the 25, 6, 7,000 range. So, every day, beginning a few days, 6, 7, 6, 8, there's going to be 40 crews a day arriving. So first crews arrive this Saturday on the 5th, day early arrivals for the opening on 6/6. So that's kind of what I've gleaned so far. I'm certain, and I want to pass along that they've asked me to pass along to this group. Who's ever monitoring questions here, if any of those, if there are any, bring them up, and I'll give you the best answer I can, and kind of the way I see it. A lot of it, like Jeff said, is, straight from the hip and kind of call it the way it is. I am not the official spokesman, for Philmont, other than the fact that, I really, and I think all of us on this call or link, really, really want Philmont to operate. Their biggest fear is what happens when they have a COVID issue? What's the magnitude of it? Who's been infected or exposed? How do they deal with it? That's going to be a paramount importance to them, and that's where their focus really is. I mean, they absolutely want and really need to make Philmont operate this year.
Hey, Daryl, tell us a little bit about the mask requirements in terms of the type of mask at base camp. Gaiters, neckerchiefs, I'm assuming are not required. Yeah. Not good.
They are talking about a mask. Everybody will be issued a mask. The typical one we see, close fitting to the face. They don't want to see gaiters. They don't want to see a triangular open bottom, neckerchief. They need, and they're looking for, and they're requesting, a multi-layer, good quality mask. And I think those of you who are traveling with public transportation, either train or airline, are going to see those same requirements. Somebody's got a radio or something going in the background. So, aha. So, anyways, did Scott 1 or 2? Did that answer your question?
It did. I was just following up on a few things that are popping up in Facebook. There was also a question about, or a comment that you mentioned the Villa Philmonte is open only to homebound crews. I believe that's the same case with the National Scouting Museum. They're wanting to know, if they show up a day early, what is there that they can do at base camp? Now, my experience showing up a day early, you're pretty busy just doing your check-in stuff.
But if you show up a day early, no, the museum is open to the public, and that can be both homebound, trailbound. So, you can do that on your day. You can be moving around base camp. You can have, whatever the volume of people are, the Tooth of Time, the trading post, could be open, as well as the snack bar. From those of us who have been there before, the snack bar has usually been an indoor, everybody moving around and look kind of whatever ice cream and burrito you're looking for. Most of it now will be done through a walk-up window.
Are they going to be throttling the attendants into the tot or into the museum?
I'm not sure about the museum, but the Tooth of Time traders will be gated. They will count people in, count people out. The recommendation is that if you have the opportunity, make your selection and purchase online before you get there, and then pick up and pay, or you probably already paid, but pick up there. Obviously, the belt and the belt buckle is the ubiquitous souvenir that everybody buys, and they're going to want to look at the 17 different kind of buckles and the size of the belt and so forth.
Yep. Awesome. I do have a staff question for you.
The other, before you go there, Scott, the other thing is, and again, it sounds so obvious. Read the information. The guidebook to adventure, the guidebook to itineraries. A lot of the questions that you have will be answered there. So take the time and look at it. My take on this is Philmont is going to be pretty straight down the line on this. There's not going to be a lot of negotiation. They've just put too much effort into this to waffle from the plan. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of ads on my news feed about Philmont still hiring. We're still hiring for the summer. Is that kind of a normal thing this time of the year, or are they having a hard time filling staff positions? And is that going to impact our programs out in the backcountry at all? Just your thoughts.
My thoughts. The last number of years, they're always looking for staff. I mean, they can take whatever people will apply. Right now, they're about 1,100. They would like to be at about 13. So there's several openings. I know in past years, older scouts have been literally, over the age of 18, have been offered employment, and they call home and say, "I'm not coming home. I'm staying here. Send more clothes." Yes, they're looking for staff. I don't believe, it's never really. I haven't seen it impact program in the backcountry. The cooks in the kitchen may work a little harder. The people in the welcome center, logistics, but they know that the program in the backcountry, along with hiking, of course, but that doesn't take a lot of staff. But the program in the backcountry is what the majority of the people are there for, and they don't want to impact that negatively if they don't have to. What they end up doing is, unfortunately for the staff in the backcountry, their days off get cut. Normally, I think the rotation is something like 7 to 9 days and then 3 days off. So, rangers who take the crews out, when they leave the crew on the morning of the third day, if they're short-staffed, they'll come back into camp that afternoon and they'll meet another crew the next morning and turn around. And normally, if they have a sufficient staff, they would at least get 1 day off to do laundry and resort and so forth. But they will do what they have to administer the program.
So, short story, your ranger is going to smell bad.
He'll probably, but after the third day, he'll probably be just like the rest of you. So, but yeah, those are some of the things that I heard. Oh, one other thing, I don't know where I saw it, but somebody was saying, well, we don't like, let's just say supper 3. So we're going to bring our own supper 3. And we're going to ask Philmont to transport it to our first commissary. They would really, really not like to do that. They want to keep alternate food to either dietary, medical, or religious purposes. They'll take care of it, and they do it quite well, but they don't want to be overloaded with it either. Please don't try to game the system. That's kind of where I'm at on this, and the conversations that I've had. Medical recheck, you're gonna go through that. I've heard from a buddy of mine who's from St. Louis here, who's on medical staff. As far as the adults, height and weight and blood pressure is going to be pretty much by the book. And if you can stand back and step away from this and look at the liability that Philmont has, at any given time, once the season gets rolling, there's 2,000 to 3,000, 4,000 people in the backcountry, and providing medical assistance, evacuating you, bringing you back to base camp, is a big deal. So please make sure your medications are up to date. Height and weight is in line with the chart. On medications, when you check in, they are going to want to see that you have a sufficient supply for either your 7, 9, 12 day trek, and they would like to see the medication. No, they wouldn't like. They want to see the medications in their original packaging, bottles, and so forth. You can, after you leave medical recheck, you can put them in your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday pill box, but at the front end, they want to see, the prescription label and it's not expired and that you have a sufficient quantity. They will do as much as they can. I mean, they know what people have put invested, time, money, and energy in getting to Philmont. They do not want to turn you away. They will do as much as they can without creating a liability for themselves to get everybody into the backcountry.
Hey, Daryl, back on the question about crews coming in a day early. are they going to be able to physically go check in the day early and then maybe leave and go into Cimarron or in the surrounding areas? Are they going to be just really confined once they get there?
And I asked that specific question. They will be free to move around as long as they have their own transportation. Their shuttle bus to town, will not be operating.
Got it. And I believe, Jeff, you talked about it the last live session last month, a lot of things that are going on that are open in Cimarron that folks can check out as well.
Yeah, and boy, that's an interesting kind of balancing act that they're doing, because obviously, Philmont is its own little city outside of Cimarron, but you can't really separate the two, Cimarron and Philmont are joined at the hip. And I know that the ranch, I'm putting words in their mouth here. No one told me this, but I trust that they really want to be sure that they want to see the town succeed and all the businesses that are there for us. They want to see them get business and the revenue they need to stay alive. But they have to weigh that against the liability like Daryl was talking about. And man, that's tough. Definitely. I don't envy anyone in the position to have to deal with those decisions. But what you're referring to here, we do have a list of different activities that are available there around Cimarron. You know what? I'm going to copy that link and I'll drop it in the chat real quick here. Let's see if I can do that.
And I think I sent you. I think I sent you a list that the proprietor of it's now the Hikers Coffee Company, used to be the art gallery, sent us, and she's been very cooperative, very helpful, and a non-biased plug. If you get a chance to go into town, go get a cup of coffee there.
Yeah. Say hi to Melissa there at Hikers Coffee Company. She's the one that coordinated this information. I also spoke to the or emailed back and forth with the head of the Chamber of Commerce, and again, very eager to see folks, but also to be sure that everyone is safe and that no one is jeopardizing the ability of the ranch to be open.
Right. Philmont is a tremendous economic engine for Northeast New Mexico, particularly Cimarron. I mean, literally, they've been open, 1 year in the last 3? And the local community has significantly suffered, from a, economic standpoint.
Hey, Daryl, you mentioned that Villa Philomonte is only open to homebound crews. Does that apply? And that's over at the Philmont Training Center. Does the entire Philmont Training Center apply only to homebound crews, or are people free to kind of go back and forth?
I'm not sure your question, but is it open to the PTC? Yeah, they can go. They're also limiting size, 12 to 15 people in a group. They used to do 25 to 30, but they just aren't doing that because of the COVID situation. But I'm not sure I answered or understood your question.
You did. I just wanted to know if people were free to go check out the training center while they're at base camp.
Right. Well, and like I say, you need for the villa, you do need to make a reservation, and that needs to be made at the museum. So they're coordinating times, and so forth. I think they're doing them every 15 minutes is what they're doing, because you're going to be moving through the villa, halfway through, and then a new crew comes in and so forth. Those of you who have been there before, and those of you who haven't, you need to go see it. I would highly encourage you to bring a clean pair of socks. They ask you to, carry your boots or shoes with you just to preserve the carpeting and the floors and so forth. So
nice.
Yes.
I know that's long-winded, and but hopefully, we've answered a lot of questions. I don't know.
Good. Yeah, and folks, keep the questions coming. Yeah, I mean, if you have good questions, don't make up something just to give us something to talk about. We actually have a few things on the agenda to talk about. I'm going to tell you what they are real quick, just so the panelists can prepare as well. Things to talk about: how to identify Philmont Trek Talk members while you're there at Philmont. We're going to talk about that. We had some ideas. We ran some things up the flagpole here among our group and with some folks at Philmont yesterday. Had to kind of back up and punt. So we're going to work through that here in a few minutes. Hugh, a couple days ago, asked about if we could discuss personal hygiene. He says, I've seen people say they clean themselves and wash clothes every day on the trail. That would be me. A how-to discussion would be nice, so we will dive into that. He'd like some clarification on the bear bag and oops bag. So you guys on the panel, get ready to talk about that. We had a question about a crew that has 3 vegetarians. So how do they manage crew cooking? Do they need to take a separate set of pots and stoves? So we'll dive into that.
I'll take that one.
And then, okay, good. And then the last thing that I have on this agenda is to show you guys this snazzy new first aid kit from North American Rescue that was a collaboration of my company, Gear-Report, arranging things behind the scenes, Sal's massive brain power and wilderness first aid skills, defining what was in it, and then North American Rescue, one of the premier first aid medical companies coming together to put together. This doesn't say Philmont on it anywhere because it's not an official thing, but it was designed, roughly for someone doing a Philmont type trek. So we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. So working through that agenda, let's start with how do we identify people? I had hoped that we could maybe leave something in the welcome center that people could ask for when they come in, but I think that's going to be too much of a logistical burden for the folks there. And then we blur the lines between us being like a fan group for Philmont and actually, using resources of the official Philmont proper. So we're not going to be able to do that. I think probably the easiest thing to do is let's just all agree that we're all going to get some sort of little blue ribbon and maybe put it on a backpack strap when you're hiking. I'm probably going to get some ribbon and double lark's head it around a little carabiner so I can clip it to my backpack strap when I'm hiking, maybe clip it to my hat, or maybe clip it to a belt loop or something when I don't have my backpack on. And then, that's I think that's going to be about the best thing that we can do right now. So any thoughts from anyone else?
Just a thought.
Yes, sir.
I know we're crunch time for shakedown hikes, but hey, wear that on your shakedown hikes. Maybe you'll come across a Trek Talker on one of those and take a photo and post to the Facebook group.
Yeah,
blue ribbon works for me. I like it.
Yeah. Philmont just doesn't want to support one group over another. They're trying to be neutral on this whole thing.
Yeah, and perfectly understandable.
And Jeff, you had a question. If somebody out there knows that the color blue is supposed to be for something, we're not representing that, supporting it or whatever. We're just picking the color blue out of the sky.
Blue because
pardon the pun there, but
I'm thinking like Facebook blue because we're a Facebook group. That's where the blue came from. If anyone knows of a cause that is represented by that it would be like bad for us to use that color, let us know. Leave a comment in the chat, leave a comment in the Facebook group, whatever. Tell us before everyone goes out and buys blue ribbons. But for now, that seems like the path that we're going to take moving forward. And it should be super cheap, super easy. Clip something on, everyone will be good.
Yeah, ribbon.
Could be blue paracord, whatever. something that we will be able to identify pretty quickly and easily. I think they're trying to beam you up, Daryl.
Yeah, I got him.
There we go. He just muted himself. That's fine.
Okay, so Sal, do you want to take that? We have 3 vegetarians in our crew. How do we cook? Do you want to do that one now?
Sure, I'll do that one now.
Okay, I'm going to bring you up big on the screen.
Okay, considering I fall into that group of the vegetarian type, because I don't do that. The best thing I would say to do is go through the Philmont menu and see what you can and cannot eat. Supplement it, either bring it yourself, breakfast, lunch, because the breakfast and lunch are usually cold, so you can supplement those pretty easy. Now, the dinner part, since it's going to be a hot meal, I would suggest that you purchase your own bags of dehydrated vegetarian meals and mark them up like Philmont requires. Bring them to logistics and have them bring them. They will ship them to the proper commissaries for you to pick them up. But you can actually go through and pick through the menu. That's what I do. I pick through the menu ahead of time and see what I can eat and what I can't eat. You can always trade it. I don't know about swap boxes. We should ask Daryl about if swap boxes are going to be running. You can always trade it with the kids. You can trade it with other scouts. You can put stuff in the swap box and pull stuff out of the swap box. So that's my suggestion on vegetarians. Look at the menu, swap it out if you can, bring it yourself and carry the whole way, which is a lot. But for the dinners, I would definitely go on the Philmont website under dining in the backcountry, and they tell you how to send it to Philmont or bring it with you to Philmont, how to mark it up, and they will ship it out to the commissaries and you can pick it up as you go along. That's the way I would do it. That's the way I'm doing it. But I'm not going to be doing the dinners. I'm just going to skip the dinners. Everything else I'll be okay with. I'll be trading lots of beef jerky for peanuts and all that stuff like that. So,
Yep.
And I think,
Daryl, what about the swap boxes?
Swap boxes, from what I understand, swap boxes will be open,
Awesome.
available. However, the person I was talking to said, well, we would like you to sanitize and wipe it down before you put it in the box. And I'm thinking, like, I think I would sanitize it before I took it out of the box.
That's true.
But
yeah, your hands are going to be disgusting anyways. Who cares?
Yeah.
So, okay. Awesome. See, if the swap box is available, you can always find something there to eat. I mean, again, look at the menu, pick and choose what you can trade off with other people. That's what I'm planning on doing. Because if you have a scout and you have a piece of beef jerky and they have peanuts, you can always trade peanuts for beef jerky all day long. We'll trade all day long. Again, the dinners are the hardest part for vegetarians because they're going to have to bring their own. You could just get the bags and cook it in the bags. I wouldn't even use the pot. I would just use a separate bag to cook it in. Don't even worry about pots for 2 or 3 vegetarians.
Was anybody there in 19?
Yes, I was.
I was.
Okay. They're going to continue, from what I understand, both at base camp and in the backcountry commissaries, where a certain amount of food items will be off to the side for pickup, like crackers and so forth, so that, the big thing was everybody got overloaded with crackers.
Yes.
Something in there and all of this. So, when you get your food package for 2 people, it's not necessarily going to be complete. If you have, cheese or tuna fish, you're going to have to pick up separately, a sleeve of crackers. They're just not going to, because half of them went to waste. You always found crackers in the swap boxes. So there's going to be some food items. So pay attention to that as you pick up your food.
Speaking of food and vegetarians, is there any changes with the chuck wagon dinner on some of the itineraries due to COVID, or what are their options for vegetarians on that?
I have not heard anything.
I don't know myself either. I would suspect there would be limited options, just the way chuck wagon operates.
Biscuits, a lot of biscuits.
A lot of biscuits, a lot of cobbler. I mean, the main entree is beef stew out of a bag.
Well,
Okay.
those are the days I would tell the vegetarians to make sure they pack away a extra freeze-dried meal. Let's say they're going to be doing Poniel chuck wagon dinner on day 7. Day 6, pack 2 dinners in your stuff you give Philmont, and that way you'll have one for day 7 at Poniel. And just don't even worry about it. Just bring your own food.
Yeah, Hugh, it looks like the question you asked sounded pretty similar to what Daryl was saying, that he mentioned crackers, but it sounds to me like they've identified what stuff showed up in the swap box the most. We're going to kind of hold that out and let you decide if you want it or not, or that kind of thing, which is both smart, but
Hugh,
it also...
Thank you for that comment there. Appreciate it.
Yeah. It also could mean less stuff in the swap boxes, which is kind of making me go into panic mode. But
you don't need a lot of sriracha peanut butter. That's all I got.
I don't think they're having it this year.
Good.
Sun butter or almond butter, whatever they have.
they better have sriracha peanut butter.
I don't think so. Hey, by the way, I just look at, for giggles and kicks, I was looking at the breakfast menus I have this year. It would be for vegetarian, it'd be very easy. Everything except for 1 day is going to, 2 days are going to be like beef jerky sticks or something like that. So a vegetarian could easily trade that off for energy bites or energy bar or the brown sugar cinnamon oatmeal with somebody else in their crew. That's what I plan on doing. I plan on doing a lot of swapping. That's my take on vegetarian food at Philmont, guys. It can be done. The dinners is the hardest part because you're going to have to bring your own.
Well, that's disappointing. I'm scrolling through. See, I apologize. You get to enjoy my ADD with me. I'm on Amazon looking for sriracha peanut butter, and I can't find it. So that's really disappointing. Okay, so back to our agenda. Thank you, everyone, for the comments and whatnot there. Daryl, it looks like we have got... this is showing 30. I don't know if that's through all the different places or not, but we got a respectable number of people out there.
I was just wondering how many are we talking to ourselves or?
Oh, I do that. Hey, come back on the Gear Report YouTube channel tomorrow night. Every Wednesday at 8:00 we go live, and I pretty much talk to myself and a couple of the Gear Report writers, contributors. We have a good old time. We talk about all kind of stuff, outdoor gear related. So I'm used to that. I know you guys are used to drawing more of a crowd. I'm used to, this is a big deal. 32 people now. Oh, 31. See, I started talking and the number went down. Okay, so a couple notes that came in while we were talking. Let's see here. From a food allergen perspective, specifically wheat, not enough for a meal, take more. Huh.
He's going to have to take more. Simple as that. If he does it, if the Philmont food's not enough for him, he's definitely going to have to take more.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to have to look at each ingredient and just literally go through each ingredient and see what's in there. And if it's wheat in there, he's going to have to figure out. Example, Cheez-It crackers have got wheat flour in it. I'm looking at it right now. So he's not going to be.
I read that as that they may have an option where you can take additional stuff from the commissary. Maybe I'm reading that wrong, but the way that was worded, The way Craig's comment was worded, that's what I was thinking. He was implying that they're going to give you the option to say, that's not enough. We need a little bit more, which would be cool, but we'll see. That sounds like a logistical nightmare for them to manage, but maybe not. Maybe that's easier. All right. Facebook user is going to be out there on July 13th. That is exciting. Okay, so moving on here. I agree. It's a good thing anytime we're not wasting food. Troop 101, 716. There we go. Oh, they're doing a longer one, 1229. That's good. All right, so another topic we wanted to discuss. We did have a couple notes here about the blue ribbon is prostate cancer awareness. I don't want to, I hate to speak for the whole group, but I'm going to say I'm okay with that. You know, we can both be prostate cancer aware and identify each other as part of the group. I think I personally, I'm okay with that.
Personally, I'm all for that because on that one, I'm a 15-year survivor.
All right. Well, there you go. Maybe we'll do it in honor of Daryl then. So yeah.
There you go. Blue and white. We'll just do blue.
Well, right.
Blue
and
ribbon.
we can do blue. If someone wants to, hey, I'm not here to tell people how to do your flare. Okay. I'd like a blue ribbon that we can identify so it's easy to tell. You want to do it up and be fancy? Daryl and I talked about like had I had my act together, I was going to order a custom embroidered kind of ribbon. It was actually a keychain. So if you're going later in the summer and you have time to order one, I was going to have PTT for Philmont Trek Talk and then my name. And maybe the other side of it spelled out Philmont Trek Talk and just clip that places. If you have time, I don't have time because, you know, a little over 2 weeks, I'm going to be out there. And that's not enough time to get it made. But if you have time and you want to do that, that's fine. Get creative with your flare if you want. It's up to you. Okay, so let's see. Personal hygiene. I think I have been pretty vocal in the group about talking about the idea that you don't have to just accept that you're going to be stanky and nasty the whole trip. Last time I was out there, 2017, we had it wasn't an official sister crew. We had another crew. It was on the same day, same trek as us. And they had made a pact among their whole crew not to bathe the entire trek. And I think most of them wore like the same shirt the whole time. And I'll tell you why. It was disgusting. And after a couple days, we didn't even have to turn around and see if they were behind us on the trail. When the wind shifted, it's like, oh yeah, they're catching up. We got to speed up and get out of the downwind range. It was nasty. But I think there are real downsides to taking that approach. They thought it was fun and entertaining. That's fine. But the salts that come out when you sweat can really cause irritation and chafing. You don't want the Philmont waddle. You don't want your thighs rubbing together and getting gooey and nasty and then raw. That will be miserable. Anytime you can clean your feet, that's going to help keep them from building up all of the salts and residue that will make it easier to get blisters. Under your pack straps, getting your shirt changed and cleaning yourself, cleaning your underarms so that you don't get those salts build up on your pack straps and your hip belt. Those are all going to be things that are going to help you to avoid those friction issues, whether it's your shoes or your belt or your shoulder straps or whatever. So how I do this is I have on my backpack the two shoulder straps. Each one has a bandana tied up at the top and hanging down. One of them is for wiping sweat off. The other one I can get wet and kind of wipe myself down to cool down. When we get to someplace with a shower, one of them becomes the towel. The other one becomes the washcloth. Preferably the cleaner one gets used as the towel, and then wash them out and wring them out before I'm done, and they're clean and ready to go back on the pack for the next thing. I also have, that's what I started the last trek with. I actually inherited a little pack towel partway down the trail at Clark's Fork. So if you left a REI pack towel in Clark's Fork in late July of 2017. Thank you. It went to use. But that's another option. So that's when you have a shower. If you don't have a shower, all you need is a little bit of water to wipe your pits. And you know what? Maybe I know a lot of people talk about taking wet naps. I'm not a wet nap fan because it's trash. You have to keep it from drying out while you're on the trail. You use it, you got to dispose of it. I'd rather just use something that I rinse out when we have a good water source, and I can do that. If you really need to, and you can do it early in the day, I will use a drop or two of camp suds as I'm washing myself to help get all those to get all of those salts and stuff off. But that's what I do. The other thing that I wanted to show is I will take, let me get this comment out of the way. I will take this is the big, it's a jumbo hefty Ziploc bag. This is actually the one that I took in 2017 that I use one of these as my smellables stuff that goes in the outside pocket of my pack. So whenever we stop, I just grab this. It's all together. So this part, I'm kind of blending this with the bear bag and oops bag discussion for later. That's what I do with one of them. Another one I will keep just to take my clothes. At the end of the day, I'm going to take the stuff that I wore, put it in there, just a couple drops of camp suds, a little bit of water, zip it up, shake it around, knead it a little bit. All right, dump it out. If you have a sump, maybe dump it in the sump, or at least dump it away from camp. And then a little bit more water, shake it to rinse it, dump it out, take your stuff out, wring as much water out as you can. And then if we got to the camp early enough, maybe I just hang it on a line and it's dry by the time we go to bed, and I pack it away with the rest of my clothes. It's clean clothes now. If it's later and it's not going to dry, I have been known to hang it on. We'll do a ridge line under our dining fly tarp. I'll hang it up under there. So if it rains at night or we get a lot of dew, it doesn't make my clothes wet again. Maybe they're dry in the morning. If not, the outside of my pack becomes a clothesline and I hike the next morning until they dry out. So that's how I do cleaning my clothes. Really important: shirts, underwear, socks, shorts, the outer layer. Maybe not as important that they get cleaned, but on the last trek, every single day I put clean clothes on. And I think that was very important to being more comfortable and avoiding chafing and blisters on the trail. So,
and one thing, the washing, you're not necessarily, for everybody, you're not necessarily trying to make the clothes clean. You're trying to get that salt and the grunge out of the fabric, so it doesn't grind into your thing. I had a nurse one time who said with us, who just said, take care of the pits and the privates and you'll be okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and it's really important. And I think feet too, but feet, that's like a generic, the most important thing to take care of probably is your feet. Because you get blisters. Whew, I got to tell you, when my first trek as a youth, my father, he got blisters like the first day on the trail. And we were on a 12-day trek, and it was a long distance. We did it was scheduled for about 100 miles, so we did more than that. He was miserable the whole trip. So take care of your feet. Okay, is Dr. Bronner's okay, or do you need to use the Philmont camp suds? Dr. Bronner's is absolutely not okay. It is very strongly scented. It is you are not to take that in the backcountry. The camp suds, they issue you at the commissary, and it's intended to be for cleaning your pots and pans. If I'm just using a drop or two here and there, I don't mind kind of taking a little bit of those, and you can get more at the other commissary. If you're planning on everyone, maybe you want to bring a bottle of your own, just so you're not having to request extra from Philmont for something that they didn't intend, because they're not really budgeting for that. But it's up to you how you choose to handle that.
If you take a line out of the Rangers instructions, the small bottle of camp suds can clean 27 747s and 19 18-wheelers and still have suds left over. I mean, it is highly concentrated, and when Jeff says a drop or two, that's exactly right.
And 2 drops may actually be overdoing it by like a factor of 100%. Like 1 drop may be literally all you need.
Yeah, and as far as feet, I would sacrifice and carry extra weight for another clean pair of socks.
Yeah, I personally, I have 2 pair of underwear, 2 shorts, 2 shirts, 3 pair of socks. Yep. That's the only thing I knowingly carry extra. Okay, so we have talked about
The other thing is who grows butt paste.
Yeah.
Some kind of lubricant.
Yes.
The chafing and the waddle is not fun.
Yeah, so I typically will take Gold Bond powder, and you got to be sure you're putting it on in the morning, not in the evening, because it's a smellable. It kind of dissipates during the day. Is apparently okay. This has worked well for me, but I hear there may be some better options. So the paste, if you are getting chafing issues, I think that's going to work better for you than a powder. And there are also some different like Body Glide or some other stuff like that I've seen some discussions in the Facebook group where those specific products were brought up. So if you have questions about that, maybe go search and find those, because I can't stress enough being prepared to deal with any kind of friction, chafing, blister issues immediately when they start. Like, you think you're getting a hot spot? Stop, deal with it. Because we'll be at camp in 2 hours. I'll deal with it then. It may have gone from a hot spot to a full blister, and now you got 10 more days of hiking to deal with that. Don't. Just get on it early, take care of it, and be proactive, whether it's a blister or you're getting a little chafing. I had a day in 2017. I tried a pair of shorts that had little mesh underwear built in, and I have found that I very much prefer underwear that comes down the leg a little bit, so that there's a little bit of fabric between the thighs, so I don't get that thigh chafing. And that morning I was starting to get a little chafing down there, and when we stopped for lunch, I changed and put underwear on with those to eliminate that. It was a good call, because it was already getting a little red and tender, and just stay ahead of it. Don't think, well, I don't want to stop the crew. For something like that, you're going to prevent a bigger issue later. So go ahead and do what you need to remedy it.
Yeah, and my recommendation too, if you happen to see, one of the scouts in the trek, maybe limping, walking a little funny, do it yourself and fake it. Oh, I need to stop for a hot spot, because once the crew is stopped, those that are having problems will begin to take care of it, but they don't want to stop the crew. So give them the out.
Yeah, and also a little preventative maintenance goes a long way too. Don't show up with your toenails trimmed, your fingernails trimmed, a haircut. Be ready to spend some time in the backcountry.
That's a good
with
point.
That stuff.
I have heard of people showing up and like cutting their toenails in base camp, and then they go out and hike, and maybe they cut them a little too tight, and they get an ingrown toenail, because you're out there long enough that can really become an issue. So take care of that at home. Give yourself a couple days lead time. So if there's going to be an issue, you can deal with it before you get on the trail. Let's see. Hugh says, without getting too personal. So here's the deal. Without getting too personal, I don't really care. This is about keeping people from having something really unpleasant on the trail to deal with. So we can get a little personal. That's fine. Where does the powder go? What I do, I pull the drawers out and I shake it down in there, and make sure it gets around everywhere, because it's doing a little friction dissipation, and that's what I need it for. The paste, wherever you're getting friction, wherever your skin's turning pink, wherever you're getting discomfort, whether it's the paste or the roll-on or that looks like it comes on a stick, kind of like deodorant, that kind of stuff. Just make sure whatever you bring, it's not scented, because it'd be a smell.
If you're, I know, Hugh, you're saying you never had chafing. If you're doing your practice hikes and whatever you're doing and you're not having problems, you may not have them at Philmont. I mean, that's part of the reason for prep hikes, to see what doesn't work.
Yep.
Now, Jeff, some of that Gold Bond is kind of medicated Gold Bond. It can give you a kick there if you put too much on there.
Dude, it's yeah, I'm about to get too personal, but the tingle is a bit addictive. So if I didn't get my morning tingle on, I was grumpy all day. So
TMI.
I know. Hey, I warned you. But I also put in my shoes to help with my feet sweat like crazy. My shoes become smellable like a day into the trek. Like, I don't even want to take them on the plane. I feel guilty after the trek, even taking them around people. So I will sprinkle some powder in the morning just to help keep that stench under control to the extent that it's a little bit possible. Okay. What's the deal with pack rain covers? For or against? Let's see a show of hands here among the panel. I'm going to say for. Hands up for for. Yep. Okay.
Absolutely.
Against?
The packs do not. The packs stay outside. Yeah, in the evening they may go under, and the rules have changed literally almost every year that I've been there. The packs go under the dining fly. No, they don't. They go off to the side. They do not go in the tent. So whether it's raining or not, the morning dew or the evening dew or the overnight, you need a pack cover.
Yeah, my pack is waterproof, so I don't need a pack cover for hiking in the rain. And I wear a poncho, so it covers my pack as well. I carry a pack cover because when we're at camp, I want it covered up so it's not soaking wet in the morning if it rains or gets dew or whatever.
And I would recommend a pack cover that on the backside has elastic, and then it goes down underneath the bottom of your pack. If nothing else, and I saw this, and it happened to one of the kids in our crew. We stopped the program. They did the pack line. The pack is sitting on the ground. What is typically in the bottom of the pack? Your sleeping bag. The sleeping bag. And it began to rain. And now there was nothing keeping that pack from sucking up all the water and into the sleeping bag. At least if you have a pack cover, put it on, and it'll give you some kind of water barrier.
Right. So while we're on that topic, my pack, when I purchased it, came with its own fitted elastic cover. I know Philmont rents a lot of packs. Does anyone know if those rented packs include a pack cover or not? They do not. Okay.
Yes, they do.
Oh, they do.
I thought they did. Yeah, we rented them in 2019 and they had them. So I would say the two boys that rented them in 2019, they both had covers with them. They were attached. They were a built-in rain cover. That came with the pack.
And if they don't, you can always get one at the tooth of time to trade it.
Yep. Okay. Excellent. And I'll tell you, there's no shame in my tingle game, so I'm okay with that. All right. Let's see. Really, I think we all want to know just two things: boots or trail runners. Show of hands for boots. Oh, what's wrong with you people? Trail runner. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
all right.
With you people.
Outnumbered again.
Yes.
Okay, chair or no chair? Chair? No chair. Oh, there we go. All right, I think Daryl was on both teams, so that was very diplomatic.
No, Daryl's a chair man.
Boots and chair, man.
Oh, don't go there. Yeah. So let's see here. I was going to show you guys something. Chair or no chair. I don't do a chair. I do a little sit pad. And this little thing, this one that just came in, and I got company sent me a couple of these to try, and it's very similar to what I already have. It weighs next to nothing. Like, I got to put it on my little drug dealer scale and figure out exactly what it weighs, but it can't be more than an ounce or two, and it will give me just enough padding to keep my booty from being too uncomfortable, and to give me a barrier if it's wet ground or whatever, and that's what I'm going to do. There's always something to lean up against. There are lots of stumps and other stuff. Oh, here we go. No chair here. My people have arrived. Look at that. Team no chair. Team sit.
I'm sorry. I'm
Excellent.
sorry. I'm a chairman. After 2019, when I got to borrow one, I'm a chairman. I went to the dark side.
Yeah, whatever. We
Whatever.
We
The
still
other
love you
feature
anyway. So
on your sitting pad, if anybody in the group, if you don't want to take it, do that, whatever. At least I would recommend, either bringing from home a piece of Tyvek, and if you don't even do that, after your first meal, save one of the meal bags and stick it in your pack, and you can
there's a
put
plan.
it down. When you sit on that wet log, at least you can put a piece of plastic between you and the log.
Hey, we got a question about vegetarians using separate stoves too.
Yeah, I think we addressed that question earlier, and I am very tempted to just say, go back and rewatch the video to see that. But just very quickly, I think what you suggested, Sal, was, maybe those people just you rehydrate in the bag quietly.
Rehydrate in the bag. They can use the same water as the people are using because they're boiling water. Boiling water has nothing to it. They can take some of that boiling water and use it for their pouch meals, the vegetarian pouch meals. Or if they bring in a jet boil, just boil their own water.
Yeah.
That was my suggestion.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're at this year. You mentioned, Sal, a jet boil. How do I want to put it? The jet boil with the large quart, tall one.
Yeah.
Philmont would prefer a more stable stove than that. They can't come out and say no jet boils because they end up in court. But that's a risky type stove, particularly the tall.
Yeah, the super tall one, yes, but the regular jet boil would work. It only holds a quart, I think. I would show you mine, but I sent mine out today. Sorry.
Okay. For the no chair group, is it a matter of weight? Is there no sitting time, so no need for it? For me, it's mainly it's two things. It's weight, and it is I have seen too many times people fall in love with their chairs and they just want to sit around all the time. And when you have things to do, seriously. Pack line is made. People are pulling chairs out before the pack line's even finished and sitting around and not getting the things done that they need to. So it's personal choice. If people want to sit around, if you want to spend thousands of dollars and fly halfway across the country and do all this backpacking just to sit in a chair, then who am I to say that's not a good use of your time and resources, right? It's not a good use of my resources, though. I'm going to go find something to do to take in the wonder of Philmont. But also, I got bad knees and a bad back. I'm looking to carry absolutely as little weight as possible so that I don't injure myself on the trail. And so it's extra weight for me as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of downtime, particularly once you arrive at camp and after program, meal preparation, and so forth, and just sitting around with the group. That's, it can be a distraction, and that's something that the crew leader and advisor, you got to manage that.
And I've got two more cons for the chairs to add to Jeff's list. One is space, in addition to the weight.
Yeah, true.
And Jeff knows I'm really an advocate about managing your time out in the backcountry. And for every piece of gear that you bring out there, that's one more thing you got to pack up in the morning, and it's going to get you a slower start out on the trail the next day. So reduce the amount of stuff you bring out there, guys. Not just camp chairs, but anything you can get away with not bringing.
Hey,
don't bring it.
my crew, it's a rule. You pack up your camp chair before you go to bed. It's already packed up before you go to bed. So that when you wake up, all you do is it's 45 minutes. You're out the door.
Well, then you can't sit down in the morning and put your trail runners on.
Trust me, I can. Except I have my boots. Hey, somebody asked a question about what kind of shoes you use for horseback riding. Can you use trail runners? Yes, you can. You can use whatever you're working. If you're trail runners or hiking boots.
Okay, quick plug here for Scott mentioned time management. He has a series of 3 articles that are really good that I recommend that you, as adults, read and understand, maybe share them with your crew leader if you think that it will help them to, to manage things better so everyone has a good trek. And I am attempting to paste and share, there we go, the link to that article if anyone cares to go check out. That's the first of a series of 3 written by our illustrious Scott O'Mary. Okay, so let's see. Andy, you know what, Andy? I almost didn't even bring his comment up because he didn't join us on the panel. So I thought maybe I'll just censor him because he didn't join us in person. But we'll go ahead. Lightweight pack towels. You can make a case for them. Backcountry washing machine. Absolutely. I agree. Okay.
Mean he carries a 5-gallon bucket and a plunger?
I don't know. Yeah, that would be a hefty. Oh, it wouldn't let me post that comment apparently. Let me try that one more time here. I don't know what the problem is there. Chair for me, still on the fence about boots. For me, the boots, it's weight. They're generally heavier, and yeah, I've read some pretty good studies about the ankle support is really somewhat of a myth. So that's really why I go with trail runners, because it's a lot less weight to carry. Because you're lifting them with every step, you're lifting and moving them. So it's more important than the weight in your pack.
And I go back to my comment earlier. What are you doing on your prep hikes?
Yeah.
If and nothing against this Facebook user. If you're on the fence, what are you using on your practice hikes? Are you using boots or trail runners?
Yeah. You really don't want to hit the trail in something brand new. Although someone posted something, where was it? Oh, there we go. Jeff posted the Lone Peak 5. I was looking at those this morning thinking, I got 2 more weeks. Maybe I'm going to order a set of those and just go out and do some hiking in them to break them in. I don't know. We shall see. No chair. He likes the Lone Peak 5s and he's no chair. I'm on Team Jeff. All right. I've joined Team Jeff. All right. What else do we have we can talk about here in the comments?
We got to do the bear bags.
Okay. You wanna drive that discussion?
Sure. Well, what was his exact question about
the bear bag and oops bag system still confuses me. So maybe we can discuss that as well.
Okay, the bear bags has how we do it is every crew is going to be different. This is I'm saying how my crews do it. Every tent couple, because tents are in pairs, has their own bear bag. So that way, and whatever food, when you get to camp, only thing that's going to come out is that night's dinner. Everything else goes up in the bear bags. And then you have your smellables, which would be your first aid kit. Any smellables you have goes up in the oops bag. If you have a problem if you have an issue with, you understand with the oops bag and the bear bags, I would suggest you go look at Philmont has an awesome video on their YouTube channel of how to hang a bear bag and all that good stuff. But the oops bag is the stuff that you have left over from dinner that since you already have the bear bags up. So you like your oops bag would be your first aid kit, your smellables, toothpaste, toothbrushes, first aid kit, your dirty Nalgene, the one that has your Gatorade in it, any trash you have, anything that's the smellables.
Yeah.
Hopefully
So the idea with the oops bag though is your main bear bags are heavy. So you put those up and you got the carabiner on it that becomes what you use to. So when that goes up, you run your oops bag line up through the carabiner on your main bags. So then you don't have to let that raise and lower the big, heavy, bulky bear bags, but one time. And then your smaller stuff goes up and down in the oops bag because it's easier.
And like what Sal was saying, and part of it is the time process. Typically, you get to your camp, you get assigned your campsite and so forth, and then the stuff comes out of the various backpacks. And like he said, the only thing, the food is really the big item. At that point, you keep your supper meal out, but you may be running the main heavy bags up 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then, they're up, they're tied and they're left. And then the only thing you need is the oops bag on a separate rope or whatever that you can hoist up after supper.
Yes. And it may be light enough one person can do that. Whereas the big bag, you're probably going to need 2 or 3 people to raise it and secure it properly.
Yep.
The oops bag. So the way we did them on the last trek is we each used, and I don't have one within arm's reach here. They're on the other side of the room. I use, what are they called? Like little stuff sacks that you roll down the top and then it clips together. So you've got a loop.
Yeah.
You can clip that through a carabiner or through a loop of rope on your oops bag line, so that everyone just has their own clipped on and you got your name written on it. So all your stuff for your oops bag, which is going to be the stuff you're going to use later, like maybe your toothbrush before you go to bed, toiletry stuff, little things like that you were still going to need them. So you didn't put it in the main bear bag when it went up at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. But then when you're done with them, lower the light one, clip them on, raise it back up. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
And Sal mentioned the video on the Philmont site on hanging the bags. It's a slightly different setup if you're out in the Valle or someplace like that. And I've posted a drawing of what that setup looks like on the Facebook. I think it's a document folder or file folder. You can check that out.
Yeah, the Valle or the Vol, I pronounce it. If you're going there, you will be issued an extra bear rope. You'll be issued 3 because that extra one actually becomes the bear line between 2 trees. And the smellable bag, I would highly encourage that whatever you use, it be waterproof. Because it rains at night or whatever, and just because it's in a bag doesn't mean it's going to be kept dry. And but typically the bear bag hanging is the at least for my cruise has been the evening entertainment for the adults. Okay, water. Oh, couple of things we're not hearing you, Jeff.
Oh, sorry. I was sitting here talking and I was muted. So for those running Nalgene's, how many? Let's talk about this in terms of a Nalgene as a 1 liter bottle. It doesn't matter what kind of 1 liter bottle you have. How much water capacity do you need to take? I think is probably a bit a different way to word the question that may be a little bit more applicable. So for me, generally, no less than 2. If I expect that there's going to be water along the trail, even if I think I only need 1, I'm carrying 2. Typically, it's going to be at least 3. Oftentimes, I'll carry 4 because I have run out on the trail before, especially if you're going up towards the Tooth, that whole Schaefer's Pass area. It is notorious for the spring up there on top. They'll tell you, oh, yeah, it's flowing when you're in base camp. When you get up there, it's not. So it is miserable running out up there. So that is one thing. I don't want to carry an ounce. I don't have to. But water, I am always going to carry 1 more liter than I think I'm going to need, maybe 2, depending on where we're going. Okay.
Back up what you said, Jeff. I would say that probably an individual should have the capacity or capability of carrying 4 or 5 liters of water. You're not going to be carrying it all the time. It doesn't have to be Nalgene's. It can become the extra stuff. The 3, 4, 5, 6 liter can be a platypus, something that's very compactable and so forth. One of the things we do with our crew is we have one of the adults and one of the youth, just kind of like we have a crew leader. We have a person who does water management. They look at the map. Where are we going tomorrow? If we're hiking 6 miles along a stream, we don't need to carry 3 liters each. It's so handy to pick up. That gives another, teachable moment, training and so forth with the youth. The other thing I was going to say, personal hygiene. Our crews got into it several years ago. We have a toilet kit. Everybody has a small Ziploc with a small amount of toilet paper in it. Maybe some wet wipes, a small bottle of hand sanitizer. So when you grab the shovel and go do your distance, you have your own hygiene kit with you. You got paper, you can sanitize, you can wipe yourself clean, and so forth. That it just helps in personal hygiene.
Yeah.
Each person has a small toilet kit.
All right, good. Does Philmont teach the caterpillar method? I don't recall being taught that at Philmont. No.
Philmont doesn't necessarily. That would be a option for the ranger, whether he did or not. It's a method. I mean, I think hopefully we all know what it is. It's like a track on a tank or a caterpillar. You step off to the side, you let the crew go by, and you pick up the tail and keep circling around. People who use it and have practiced it in practice sites, they claim it's very efficient and keeps the crew from having to stop more often on the severe uphills.
I think we have a document on that as well on the site.
Awesome. Yeah, I've tried it. Never really been a fan, but I can see some pros. We have used it on occasion. If we had anyone who was struggling, what it really does is because your whole crew is cycling through, you get eyes on everyone and kind of keep everyone in close. So if you got a runaway at the front, like we had a pace setter last time who wouldn't turn around and see if people were falling behind. If we were doing caterpillar, then we would kind of keep him in check so he didn't run away from us. Or if anyone's having chafing or blisters or whatever, kind of struggling to keep up, then everyone gets to get eyes on that person periodically. Yeah. So I can see some pros for caterpillar also.
I definitely swear by it going up the approach to Baldy for sure, where you're going uphill for hours and hours at a time.
Right.
It does give this old man a 30-second breather every couple of minutes.
Gotcha. Good question here about work gloves. Yeah, it's a good question. Man, I'm glad that Facebook user brought that up because I had forgotten that I need to get gloves.
The policy this year is bring your own leather palmed or leather gloves totally for your conservation project. They are not going to have 50 pairs of gloves in a box and everybody wear them. That COVID's not going to allow that. And you might, again, it's a weight item, whatever. But yeah, I mean, if your fingers tend to get cold in the morning or evening, a lightweight pair of jersey, some kind of gloves, you may want to do that. But as far as work gloves for conservation, bring your own.
All right, Andy chimed in on water. Collapsible water bags are great for extra storage. Absolutely. And it can be crew size water bags like the dromedary bags or larger hydropack bags, or if anyone wants to, I'm going to go ahead and plug our only sponsor here, Gear Report, which happens to be my company. We've got a great gear guide article up there that's actually stickied in our group as well, and there's a pretty good water section talking about a whole bunch of different options in there if anyone wants to check that out. But I absolutely agree, the collapsible water bags are a phenomenal way to have extra capacity without taking up room in your pack and adding a lot of extra weight.
And those come into play when you're headed into a dry camp, because you're going to have to carry 4, 5, 6 liters a piece, because you're going possibly 24 hours without a water source.
Oh, there we go. It was StreamYard.com/Facebook is how you give it permission so that you're not Facebook user when you leave comments. All right. So I'll try to remember that for the next one so that we can direct people early to be able to get around that. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put the last call out there. So we've been on for an hour and a half. We've still got 35 people showing here in StreamYard. So thank you for everyone who's chosen to squander this much of your evening with us. You're never getting this time back. So hopefully it was valuable to you. I know personally, I've had a good time here. I love any time I get to spend with the panelists here. I love the questions that have come in. I hope we've provided some good answers. If you have anything else you want to ask, do it quick. So while we're waiting on those, I want to give Sal the virtual high five for all the effort he put in on getting the list of stuff here for North American Rescue to make this pack. You'll see here, Suncoast WFA, that's Sal's company where he teaches wilderness first aid training. So it's his backpack first aid kit. He defined the list of all the things that are in here based on his Philmont Trek crew first aid kit needs. You see the part number on here is, what is that, 653446? No, 85353446. If you want to get this, unfortunately, the way to get it right now is you have to call North American Rescue. I'm going to copy their phone number and the item information here.
And let me add something, Jeff. On that kit, there are no medicines in that kit. They don't have let's say capacity. They don't have the way to get those in the kit yet due to some medical requirements. So you're going to have to supply your own aspirin, Tylenol, and ibuprofen, all that stuff like that is not in the kit. Anything that would be you could take orally is not in that kit.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the aspirin, Tylenol, ibuprofen, stomach medicine, I think that's about the only 4 things that aren't in that kit.
Yeah. And apparently that was a legal thing that
yeah.
there are parts of the country where it's okay. There are other parts where they can't include it. It's illegal. So to get around that, they said, you know what, we're going to leave those out. And maybe Sal, if you want to document, we can share those in the group.
Okay,
What the
I'll write
items
it up.
were that you had listed that they said they weren't able to include. It was just a few little over-the-counter, easy-to-get type things.
Yeah,
Most of the more difficult stuff is in here, like Quick Clot right here. And what I'd recommend is, I'm absolutely not saying anyone has to go out and buy this. I think it's $48, $49, something like that. I don't know what shipping is, but it's designed by a wilderness first aid trainer, put together by one of the best companies in the business, in my opinion, in North American Rescue. They use high quality stuff. And I have tried to build first aid kits before. And unless you can buy stuff in bulk and make a ton of kits, it's really cost prohibitive. So this $50 for this may seem like, do I really want to spend that? But it's probably cheaper than if you try to put it together yourself with all that stuff.
So what is that rated for in terms of people and length of trip? Does it have some sort of guide on that?
Well, it's designed to be for a crew to use for a Philmont trek.
So a 12-person crew for a 10-day backcountry, roughly.
Probably a rough guideline.
Okay.
The first aid kit designer just took his headset off and stepped away. So I'm not sure, but
that would be my assumption. Yes.
Yeah, same. But again, I posted in the chat the phone number to call to talk to North American Rescue, and the item number in the description is there. Last I heard, they had not added it to their website yet. I don't know if they're going to. They were actually looking for Sal and I to become resellers to sell it, and I'm not sure either one of us really wants to get in the business of selling first aid kits. We just wanted to have a good designed first aid kit put together to make it easy for people. And they send it in a vacuum sealed pack that once you tear it open, it has a little Ziploc seal so you can reseal everything. And yeah, I'm pretty thrilled with this, not just because my company logo got put on it and Sal's company got listed on it, but because it's a company that puts together great medical kits, in my opinion. And Sal did a great job thinking through what needed to be in the kit and outfitting it. So I'm biased, but it's a pretty good kit in my opinion.
What I'll do is I'll write up something and post it on the Facebook group tomorrow or next day about what's in the kit and what I have added to it that they don't supply.
Yeah, good.
And I'll do a whole thing and write it. I'll take pictures and everything, and we'll go from there. I'll work on that tomorrow.
One of the other things I know, Sal, you mentioned some medicines not in there and what to bring. You might also want to bring some Imodium AD.
Yeah, that's one of the. That's what it was. That was the thing I was missing. It's Tylenol. I do Tylenol, ibuprofen, aspirin, Imodium.
Yep.
And some of it, like Tums or something like that. Those are the the 5 things I have added to that kit.
All right. Excellent. Okay. And Suncoast. I'm not sure what that is. Anyone?
No.
I've heard the name before. I don't remember. Let's see. What else we have here? Oh, look at that. YouTube personality Flying Rich has stopped by to say yo, yo, yo. Well, same back to you there, Rich. All right. Believe it or not, he says. All right. Oh, mild laxative. Oh, my goodness. I have mixed feelings about that. If someone needs it, I mean, certainly. I think that with the reduction in squeezed cheese in the menu, there is less of the whole cheese plug effect going on, and the mild laxative is less of an issue. The Imodium AD probably, yeah.
I think that's called dinner number 4 is your Suncoast.
Yeah.
The Mexican dinner.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, black beans and rice.
Yes.
All right. Any parting words from the panel?
I'm excited. Can't wait to get there.
Okay, Hugh. Right as we're about to shut it down, you ask a question that has been on my mind. Okay, when the toilet paper shortage came around, I went out of my comfort zone and said, you know what, we're not going to be held hostage by the people who are hoarding toilet paper. And I ordered bidets for 3 of the 4 bathrooms in my house, and that's all I use anymore. And now, like, it's kind of freaking me out, the idea that I'm gonna have to go back to the savage method of using toilet paper. And I'll tell you, there are some real benefits from a cleanliness perspective, and I am considering picking up a backcountry bidet or some such device, so that I believe that it will reduce the need for anti-chafing by making things cleaner. So I haven't tried one yet. Anyone here willing to go down this path at all?
Well, like any good scouter, I would need to see the edge method before I would buy into it.
Oh my
We need a
goodness.
demonstration.
I was afraid someone was going to go there.
Leaves and pine cones have been used for years. Just gotta be selective.
Yeah.
Yes, don't try it for the first time. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as the ranger told us one time, if you're using pine cones, make sure you use them in the proper direction.
Oh, yeah. No, Rich, this is a scouting discussion. We don't do double entendres here. This is purely people backpacking and making sure we don't have any hygiene issues that cause people any problems. Yeah, Andy, we don't want we certainly don't want anyone having poison ivy or anything similar out there.
And I think there's, let's take care of the other half, the females out there. They have their own issues, and some kind of a device so that they may not have to expose fully. And there's something out there, been seeing a lot of it, called a Kula cloth for cleaning up, which is
like an antibacterial.
That may be, it may be applicable to males too. I don't know.
So I would encourage anyone who has questions about female sanitary stuff like that in the backcountry to do some searches in our Facebook group. Some of the ladies in the group have done a fantastic job of kind of discreetly sharing some information and links to documents and presentations that I think would really help any ladies that are headed out into the field to address those anatomical need differences, or however we want to word that, to be sure that everyone has a good trip and doesn't have any issues out in the backcountry.
And I would also issue the strong suggestion that a discussion be had with the males about respect. And I mean, it's not just personal sanitation and so forth. There's going to be laundry done, and if stuff is hanging on the back of a backpack to dry, get over it. It's the way it is. Don't be a teenager, if you will. Be an adult about it. And I think that starts from the adults, putting that out there right out front, and start talking about it with the whole crew, male and female, particularly if you got a co-ed crew. Hey, we're in this together, and we need to respect each other.
Right. Yep. Agreed. Let's see. Been helpful. Let's do it again next month. That's the plan. So let's see. We are at the beginning of June. I should be getting off the trail at the end of the month and then back in the office a day or two into July. And let's see. Our first Tuesday will be, looks like July 6th. So put it on your calendar. if you're around, if you're not on the trail, we're going to reconvene.
I will be home on July 4th, so I'll be here. I'll be there.
We will have fresh stories from the trail, unless someone brings a shiv and does me in on the trail, which, it's a distinct possibility. It could happen. I know people wanted to do it last time.
From the panelists, I think myself, I'm going to be the first one out there, and I'll try to get back to the group somehow. With what I see, what's going on, what to expect. I guess, like I said at the front end, I think COVID is going to be the overriding, protocol here, and Philmont's going to toe the line. Is it going to be relaxed or intensified as they go through the year? I would say, yeah, it probably will. But on the front end, it's going to be pretty strict, and I'll be more than happy to share, either, PM me or whatever. I'll try to watch the Facebook and try to respond as best I can. I know, Wi-Fi and, internet connectivity may be a little bit limited out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Phil Shiv. So that I believe the Phil Shiv is an ultralight version of a Shiv. So I am fortunate. I'm missing. My crew had a meeting tonight to vote on some things, and I'm here instead of being at that meeting. So hopefully that means none of them are seeing this and no one gets the Phil Shiv idea, because they may be a little too enthusiastic about that. Anyone going in June? Yes. Sal and I, Daryl's going to be out there, a bunch of us. The Shiv or monkey butt. I hope not. I really want nothing to do with that. Let's see. Please report back on COVID adjustments. Yeah, you're certainly going to hear about that directly from the ranch, I think, as well as through the different channels. And they are cooperating. While we are an unofficial group and we are not the top of their priority list when it comes to disseminating information, with Daryl on the inside and some other connections we have, we are getting some information and trying to help them spread that information as we get it. And obviously, as we get out there on the trail and experience things, we'll be able to share with you how it was then, but we don't know how that's going to. I'm hoping that early in the summer, things are locked down more and that everything is successful enough that they open things up and the rules get more relaxed and more back to normal. We'll see what happens. Scott?
Hey guys, what for you guys going out in June, your base camp in particular, post a quick, 2-minute video to the Facebook page. Let us know what you're finding out, because there's no need to wait until first Tuesday of July to hear back what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Like I say, I saw the link there, what's going on with campfires. I mean, as soon as I get there, I'll let you know. I'm going to be working in the Welcome Center, and I know the two managers there. I've known them for several years, and that's kind of one of my back doors, if you will. But they're keeping me abreast of the situation. The first crews arrive Saturday, so they should have a pretty good idea by next Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, how it's working.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Had a request for a bidet review on Gear-Report. Check it out. Already done. Although that's a plumbed into the toilet at home, it's not a backpacking bidet. I don't have that one yet. I may have to do that soon.
Tongue in cheek, you going to post a video? Don't answer that.
I think you know me well enough that you may want to backtrack on that question.
Yeah.
I have no shame. Why not?
Be careful for what you asked for. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Last question before we shut things down. If anyone wants to address Garcia Cow to Wild Horse Camp, what trail? I don't know anything about that segment. Anyone off the top of your head?
part of the ranch. I've not been to too much. Wild Horse, I've been there twice. It's a great camp. I'm not sure about Garcia Cow. We came from one of the homesteading one, not Clear Creek, Crooked Creek, and that was a great hike.
All right. I'm going to unmute Sal. Can I? Can't unmute your guest because they chose to mute themselves. Okay.
Yeah. Whoever asked that trail question, if they would PM me their name and I'll research it and get back with them. I'll have to do some research on that one on like a couple of different websites. But I'll be glad to look at trails with them.
All right. I'd take him up on that. But be aware when you get the bill, that experience doesn't come cheap.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sal, that was Mike Richards from Irving, Texas.
Mike Richards.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I would like to extend a very sincere and heartfelt thank you to our panelists. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come share some knowledge and help people get ready for an awesome Philmont Trek season. I would like to give a virtual high five to everyone who's going to hit the trail. All right.
Yep, we'll be there.
One parting word that I got from Joey Fernandez, the cook. Philmont has magic to offer. You just have to let it happen.
There you go.
All right. There we go.
Happy trails. Hike on.
User hit it on the
Hike
head.
on.
Happy trails. There you go. Thumbs up from Andy at Andy Parrish Outdoors. And with that, I'm going to hit the end broadcast button here. Until next time, we'll see you on the trail.